And today's Pump House Regional Arts Center take-home clay project will be a baby owl sitting in a nest. He looks a little grumpy, but that's okay. My name is Scott, and I teach ceramics at the Pump House Arts Center located at 119 King Street in downtown La Crosse. Please visit our website at www.thepumphouse.org for more information on our classes. Now, in today's take-home kit, you should have a block of clay, a plastic knife, wooden craft stick, a wooden skewer, and a bag of slip, which is watered down clay that we'll use as a glue. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take your block of clay and your plastic knife, and you're going to cut this in half, right down the center. Set one half off to the side, take the other half and cut it in half. Just like that. Now, each of these two pieces are going to be made into a pinch pot. So how you do that is you smooth out those corners so you almost have a wheel shape. You're going to take your thumb and you're going to press into the center of that clay, but not all the way through. And then you're going to take your fingers and you're going to pinch lightly and turn. And you keep doing that. Pinch and turn, pinch and turn. And you'll see eventually that this piece of clay will turn into a pinch pot. So you just want a pinch pot, and you want to make sure that the edges here are somewhat thick. You don't want them to be really, really thin, so keep them thick. Set that one down, go to the next piece, smooth out those corners, make your wheel, take your thumb, press in, pinch and turn. So I haven't gone through the clay at all. I am making a pot. My walls are somewhat thick, so that's good. Now you're going to take these two pieces, put them face to face, and you're going to close this up, and then you're going to smooth out the seam. So you simply push the clay over that seam so that it disappears. It's much easier if the two little pinch pots are about the same size. They don't have to be perfect, but it's way easier to put them together if they're very similar in size. Now, once you have this hollow ball made, you just want to roll it back and forth a couple of times. You want to elongate that ball to look more like an egg. Just do it a few times. You can be gentle, otherwise it may fall apart on you. But if your walls are somewhat thick and you're gentle, that shouldn't happen. You can just lightly squeeze it. If cracks start to form, you just smooth those away. Now you have an egg shape. That's going to be our little owl. Set that off to the side. Take your other half of clay and you're going to cut that in half. Set half off to the side. Take the other half and you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to make a pinch pot, but just with one piece here. So smooth out those corners till you get a wheel shape, about a wheel shape. Take your thumb, press in, not all the way, and you're going to pinch and turn. Now, what we're making here is actually the nest. So it's important that our other piece of clay that we formed fits inside this. So this has to be bigger than the pinch pots that you had made before. And all you do to make it a little bit bigger is the walls are going to be a little bit thinner. And you're going to push the top part of this out just a little bit. So it's a very wide-mouthed pinch pot. And that is going to be our nest. Now, in my next video, we'll work on the details to make this into an owl and this into a nest. And so I'll see you in a bit. All right, so now we have our egg shape for the owl and a wide-mouthed pinch pot for the nest. What you want to do now is we're going to actually make the details to turn this into an owl. There's usually a flatter part to this and a pointier part to this if you've made an egg shape. So I always have the pointier part as the top of the head and the flatter part as the bottom. So see if your egg shape has that, and then you know which is the bottom, which is the top. First thing we're going to do is you're going to take your plastic knife and right where the eyes would go, you're just going to press that in a little bit. Not too hard. It's a little bit so that basically you can see where the stomach is, and now the eyes are going to be in here. And then if you can find a number 2 pencil somewhere, these work really well. It doesn't have to be a pencil, but you want it to be about the size of a pencil. So the eraser side, you're going to lightly push in 2 eyes right here, just like that. From here, you're going to take some clay. You should have 1 piece left over. You can take a little pinch of that, roll that. Basically, we're going to make a beak, so nothing too big. Double check it. If it seems too big, then you can make it a little smaller. It's sort of you gotta try it to see if it works. And so if you're like, okay, that's good, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the slip that you have in your kit, open up that bag, take your wooden craft stick and just grab a bunch of that clay like that. And what you want to do is you want to take that piece you made for the beak, and you're going to put some slip on the back side of it. It looks like frosting, so it's like you're frosting the back of the beak. And then you're going to attach it right between those eyes. Next thing I like to do is I like to make little eyeballs. So I'm just going to roll 2 really tiny balls of clay. Roll them out, flatten them, and what you're going to do is you're going to take that little bit of slip that you have on your craft stick. You probably have, if you don't have any more on your craft stick, just go back into your bag and get some out. Take that little eye and press it down into that hole that you made, or the depression that you made for the eyeball. Take the other eyeball, do the same thing, slip on the back, press it right in there. Now I like to give my owl a little forehead, so I take another piece of clay, add slip to it, and set it right up above the beak, and then smooth it out at the top. So now he looks like that. From here, you want to give him some wings. Take off another piece of clay, roll it into a ball, press it, and make one end of it kind of pointy and the other end round. So that's going to be a wing. Kind of like that. And then you're going to add slip to that. And right where you think the wing should be, you're going to add that piece of clay and press it all the way down. If you see slip oozing out from underneath it, that's a good sign. You want to see that because you don't want any air trapped underneath that wing. And all that slip can just be taken right off, so it's very easily removed. So now you see there's a wing, and he has 2 wings, so we're going to do it again. Roll it into a ball, press it flat, pinch one end into a point, keep the other end round, about the same size as the first one you made. Add slip to this. Be generous with the slip. You should have lots in your bag to use, so you shouldn't run out. And add that to the other side of the owl. See the slip oozing out? That's good. There you go. Now, at this point, you take your wooden skewer and you very carefully just draw in feathers. Just like that. And around his face, the feathers are very fine, so basically I just put in a few scratches. So it looks like he has bushy eyebrows. That's going to come all the way down and around. Don't forget his wings. A few straight lines for those flight feathers. The other wing. Some flight feathers. And you can keep going. You can go all through the back and add more feathers, which you should. And the last thing you need to do, because this is a hollow ball, and we need to make a hole to let the air escape. When I fire it in the kiln, the air will get really hot. The firing goes up to about 1800 degrees, which is just under 2000 degrees Fahrenheit. So to allow that air to escape, we're going to have to pierce the clay, and I go right through the eyes. Just like that. And now you have the eyes are complete. So we have our little, give them some nose holes on that beak. So we have our owl completed. He doesn't look quite as grumpy as the first one I made, so he's getting happier. Now, your nest. All you're going to do with the nest is you're going to take your wooden skewer and kind of draw some lines to make it look kind of like it's made out of sticks. Some straight, some jagged lines. Go all the way around. Just like that. And then you can add some of those lines on the inside of the nest. And it should look kind of chaotic because, you know, it's a bunch of twigs put together to form a nest. Nests are somewhat chaotic, except for they hold together, which they really need to do. Okay, once you have lines put in there, you can do things like you could take a little extra clay, make some small coils, which are just, you know, little, they look like little tails, little sticks. Take your slip. I think I need more slip on my craft stick. Take your slip. Add it to the little coil that you made, and you can press it onto the outside of the nest. Do a few of those. Make sure most of the coil is attached to your nest. And then you can even add a few leaves to it. And all you do with that is you roll a piece of clay into a ball, flatten it, give it a pointy end, so it looks just like the wings that you made, and then take your wooden skewer and just draw some lines in it to make it look like a leaf. It gets really small, so hopefully you can see that. And take some slip, put it on the back side of that leaf, and attach it to the nest, just like that. So you can do as many of those as you want. Remember, try not to have them stick up from the nest too far. They'll just break off when they dry out, so I don't want you to I don't want that to happen to you. And you can decorate this as much as you want. If you maybe want a few little things of berries on the nest, you can do that. So, whatever you choose. Now double check that the owl fits in the nest nicely. It's not too tight. You can see there's space between the owl and the top of the nest. And you want to write your name or your initials on the bottom of the nest, and you want to write your name or initials on the bottom of the owl so that I know that these two go together and that they're yours. And then what you're going to do is you're going to wrap this up in plastic so it doesn't dry out completely, and then you make arrangements with the Pump House Art Center about when and how to drop it off, and I will fire it and glaze it for you and then return it to you. So good luck. I know you can do it, and I'll see you next time.